One interesting game that caught my eye during the direct was a little title called Lynjked, Banner of the Spark, which looks like a roguelite, but also mixed with some online play, a bit of action RPG goodness, and maybe a little sim life. Now, I bought this one, I was very intrigued, and look, if you're considering picking it up, I would say watch the full video, because I certainly have opinions. They are my own, they may not be shared by you, and yeah, get the whole picture. Thank you to all of you that enjoy the content. Hit all the buttons, let me know what you think of this one down in the comments. How does it perform on Switch, and really what's it all about? Well, let's find out. As we've seen in a few other games, if you own the Switch 2, then you own the Switch 1. And if you own the Switch 1, well, there's a free upgrade to Switch 2. Now, one issue straight away in the performance front is that I received a crash literally on the menu screen, which is a bit worrying. You've got two options. You can play the whole thing offline. You can create an offline persona essentially with its own save slot, or you can create one that has online functionality with a similar choice. The narrative centers around the rise of AI and how shortly thereafter humanity collapses, but AI thrives, becoming the new dominant species on the planet, but not in a Terminator way, in a weird Saturday morning cartoon, semi-Power Rangers kind of a way, known as the Banner of the Spark. However, some didn't like this, fought back, dismantled them, and now that malevolent AI has once again targeted those oh so fortunate human beings. And that's where you come in, creating your own character. You get a little robot pal called Buddy, who basically turns himself into Mega Man's gun on your arm, but that process that he's just done is called linking, hence the title of the game. So then after a pretty generic tutorial, you actually arrive in what amounts to your home area. I like the way they do the map here. It lifts up and pans above your character. It's a nice idea, that. And you quickly realize that actually this has a little in common with things like Stardew Valley. There's a shop that you can purchase things like fences, other items that you can use that are just cosmetic, and you've got a house where you can go to change your appearance. And there are these things called soul sparks that are what you'll be using to upgrade. I guess they in one way work as the meta progression. That's the thing, isn't it, with roguelites? They have to come up with a good reason for you to actually keep going. And very often it's just not compelling enough. It's that slow meta progression, but what's the point? It uses the idea that you collect scrap and other junk while you're out on your runs fighting mechanical beasts, and then you can get Mason to turn that junk into household objects, signposts, and different paraphernalia for your town. And you'll find an area in the top right of your town that essentially acts as the missions hub. So if you want to go out on missions, whether it's in the solo player mode or with friends, that's where you're going to need to go to. Now, one slightly weird thing is if you're going to use a mouse, and here it gives you a mouse cursor, surely you're going to use that mouse so that you can click items and then drag them around, right? But here you select an item and then you still have to use the left analog stick to move it around. It doesn't make any sense at all. That should be dragged and dropped with the mouse, surely, unless I'm losing the plot. Yeah, I really can't see it. For me, I've just got the normal controls with the pointless mouse cursor over the top. The wire can also be upgraded at Chip's workshop, and that uses what are called friend chips, which you get from, well, your friends, the other residents in the town. Now here's the kicker. I've been playing the game for a couple of hours, and its heart and soul should be the combat, shouldn't it? And combat, it feels exactly like you'd expect. It's that top-down HADES style, but I don't know how to describe it other than it just feels so generic. And I hate to say it, but it really does. You have to defeat all the enemies in an area, you can roll around, you can grapple, you've got your arm that can grab enemies, and then you can actually upgrade that as well. And in theory, that should be a whole lot of fun, but there's just something about beating up mechanical robots, and then the way they disappear, it's just not very gratifying. I have to be honest. There are some cool things, like in the environment, there are traps that you can throw enemies into, and you get different weapon upgrades that could be quite interesting. For example, on a set of these claws that I unlocked quite early, One of the mods essentially gave a 5% chance that the enemy would join my team. But the thing is, you're wailing on them so fast that even if it did happen, you don't really notice because you've killed them before it happens. You do have a few others like flame and lightning, and once you kill all the enemies within an area, then you get the option to upgrade one of 3 different choices. Yeah, it feels uninspired. It's like 20% more damage, 20% higher chance of X. And yes, I know it's the same thing that essentially Hades does in many ways, but that feels like it's got a character. This feels a bit more like you took a free-to-play game and then charged money for it. It sounds absolutely savage. I'm sure it gets more interesting and enjoyable as you go along. And don't take my word for it. These are just my initial impressions, but the combat, it has not gripped me at all. The areas as well, there's a disparity with what you're seeing and what you're hearing. So you have these lovely, bright, colourful areas, this chirpy music, but then you're supposed to be destroying these things. It just doesn't mesh very well. It feels like they took Disney's Dreamlight Valley and like reskinned Hades with that, but then made it so there was no, gore or griminess. It's all sunshine and rainbows and bolts. And, that might really appeal to people. And I guess if you've got kids that want to play a roguelite, this may be a great choice for them. But it feels a bit clinical to me. I mean, this right here is a prime example. So as you move through the mission, you might enter an area that's, say, a rest area. And you go in, and it's got a few cases and chests that you open. And you open them all up, and it's all the same thing. Because obviously if you haven't unlocked a huge amount, then it's just going to give you variations of the same weapons. But yeah, first impressions, I'm not sure, really not sure. I think as you unlock more things, maybe the town is going to become more interesting. I've just got crops and other bits that you can plant. But yeah, I can't quite articulate what it is. It's just not grabbing me for whatever reason. As far as visuals go, I think maybe, as I've said, that's part of the problem. Performance is fine. It's around 60 frames per second. It may even go up to 120. In fact, no, it doesn't. It's 60 FPS. There are a couple of drops, but only at the very end of a stage when you're airlifted out. Other than that, it's like flawless 60. Artistically, I'm not a huge fan of this style, as I've said, and I do not understand the mouse mode implementation. It's like they went, okay, let's put mouse mode in. And then someone was like, okay, sweet, you can use it as a mouse. And they're like, no, that would be too easy. Let's just have the mouse cursor on screen and you do everything else like you would normally. So yeah, I'm sure I'm missing something, but it doesn't feel like it. Now, I did mention, didn't I, that it would be perfect for kids, and I think younger kids, for sure, it might be the way. It also has game share as well, so you can actually do game share with people around you. They don't all have to own the game. You can host a town so your friends can come along and join, and you can go out together, and maybe that's where the real enjoyment in this one is, a big group of you together, because in single player it's just not really my bag, baby. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of it? Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, maybe it looks amazing and maybe I'm missing something, and giving you the performance overview as well. Thank you to our Patreons, our members, all of you that do enjoy the content, and as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!